Good morning, everybody. It is always a difficult work after the speech made by Chris. And for me, I always when I attend this sort of a seminar while I was a government official, I would always like to speak, in my role as a urban town planner. My topic here is what I would like to advocate is walkability as an essential planning element. Let me learn how to use this stuff. Okay, yeah. Essentially, human being is a walking creature. If we design and build cities to accommodate human being, then we must understand this very unique quality of human being. The longest and strongest muscles of our body are all in our legs. And we see things and breathe air at the height of our body. Most of us less than 2 meters high. So that is what we call the human scale in the planning and development of our city. For modern town planning, that is the classic, the garden city idea. And one of these major advocacy of this garden city idea is that we should plan most of the facilities lit by the city dwellers within their walking distance. By that time, it was about a quarter of a mile, more or less 400, 500 meters today. So that remain, to me, some sort of a very important rule of thumb to plan major facilities and major facilities within our walking ability. But these pictures are so familiar to everybody, because of industrialization, because of the growth of motor vehicle, we change the form of urban of our city, and I think that is a trend that we cannot reverse. We need to live with it. But of course, our mindset are changing. So while we have been dominated by vehicles in planning and development for cities in the last, I would say, a century, now we are going to have a new mindset that we have to go back to the human being. We have to go back to put the city dwellers as a center of our planning, and that is the smart city movement, the eco city movement. You can put all the label to it, but it is people center, human being as a walking creature. Is Hong Kong walkable? So a recent research linked that Hong Kong is among the fourth most walking city in the world. Hong Kong people on average spend about 45 minutes a day walking. To me, that is not enough. How can we just sit there and only walk 45 minutes? So like Chris, we need to add a little bit our walking, right? So in the weekend, we go hiking, we go jogging, and Hong Kong provide a very good physical environment for this. So when we plan for walkability in Hong Kong, we have to look at 3 levels. Most of the people will think that, well, a good walking environment is a nice physical environment and at a neighborhood level. But I would advocate that we really need to look at 3 levels: strategic planning level, district planning level, and neighborhood planning level. So the strategic level, Hong Kong, that is Hong Kong. A lot of mountains. Our built-up area only takes over about 24% of our land, and it is a polycentric urban form. So it means that our human settlements, to a certain extent, are separated by our topography, and we need to link them together. And that is our strategic plan carried out by the end of the last century, and it really confirmed that to plan Hong Kong as a polycentric, high density and compact urban form. And that's very important because we know that to make a place walkable, we need to connect people with good motorized or mechanical transport. We cannot deny this. And therefore, the integrated land use, transport, and environmental planning strategy remain our main philosophy at the strategic planning level. So with that, we are able to put about half of our living quarters and about 75% of our jobs within 500-meter radius of a railway station. And that is very important to make Hong Kong walkable. And that the yellow dots are our bus terminus, and you can see the density. So apart from rail, we also rely on bus, and that it means at the strategic level for the mobility of our city, public transport is the backbone. And the other very important approach is at the district planning level is mixed use. Chris showed a lot of good photographs for our mixed use pattern, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. Even in our new town, we also advocate for mixed use. That is always a story I would like to tell. That is Sa Tin New Town. You can almost spend or get the most important services in your lifetime within walking distance. For New Town, we have a railway station called Sa Tin Station, and then a very large shopping mall, and we have hotels, residential developments, all connected with footbridges, and we have a riverside promenade. So if you're a young couple, you take your girlfriends, stroll along the riverside promenade, and if you decide to get married, there's a marriage registry nearby. All right, and there's a hotel. You can hold your wedding banquet, and if you're lucky, you can buy flats there to establish your family. And if you got a baby bond, the birth registry also within a walking distance, and you can take your boy or take your kid to the central library, to the Sa Tin Town Hall, which you have a cultural show. And unfortunately, if you need to get a divorce, there's a law court within walking distance. So that is walkability. So mixed use, okay? And connectivity is very important. We know that the best thing is to build connectivity at the street level. That is the romantic, medieval townscape everybody dreamed for. But we know that we are in a modern city, whether we like it or not. The density, the volume of vehicular traffic separate the neighborhoods, separate the development pockets. We have to face this reality. So connectivity by footbridges or underground pedestrian tunnels is important. In the central, that is a very good example of footbridge connectivity. It is really a good cooperation between the public sector and the private sector, and I believe some section will go into details. And one major feature of this footbridge system in the central is the mid-level escalator. We believe that if we want to encourage people to do more walking, we have to help them to accommodate the very difficult or the very physically demanding uphill walking or downhill walking. Human being as a walking creature has a physical limit to accommodate to overcome, vertical difference. So the mid-level footbridge system helped us to accommodate almost 90,000 uphill and downhill trips mechanically, and that encouraged people to walk more. All right. Another example is about this multi-layer connectivity, and I got one example as Dong Chung Town Center. We know that there is that is the railway and the highway going into the airport island, and the planning of this new town, we have to live with it, because that is determined by the highway and railway engineers. All right, but how to connect? Sorry. Okay, it goes. How to connect these two separated town centers is by a underground railway station. This is it connected the separated town center, the two portions of the town center, and then a large shopping mall. So we connect over the highway and the railway. We also make the roof as a landscape roof so that people can walk over the roof to that. So that is multi-layer connectivity. Another major connectivity, of course, is our waterfront. We have a 77-kilometer waterfront on both sides of the Victoria Harbour. Some of it we know that is not workable because it is occupied by a lot of functional activities like the container terminal, this and that. But the rest, we have been making effort to make them connected and can be used by our people. And I believe Brenda will show you some outstanding examples of that. And for our new town development at the district planning level, we also advocated that walkability is the key in our planning consideration. So for all our new town planning, which will be going on in the next 2 decades, the rule of thumb is to put almost 80% of our new population within the 500 radius of a railway station or of a public transport interchange. Again, encourage people to use the public transport, walk to the public transport facilities. So at the neighborhood level, Chris mentioned a lot to retain our streets, retain our traditional streets. And I would like to advocate the developers here, architects here, don't create what Chris and I call the dead facades, occupy the frontage of our pedestrian street. Turn the living facade with our, pedestrian street. And another thing at the neighborhood level is we have to reclaim the streets for our pedestrians. We know that in a built-up area, the public space is more or less a fixed quantum. So it is a matter of how to allocate this fixed quantum. So whether we allocate more space for cars or more space for pedestrians, so that is a continuing battle we need to fight for. And for this, on one hand, all right, we close the roads. Some permanently closed, some closed at the at the wood end. We reduce the traffic link, as Chris showed you in many pictures. We narrow down the road lengths and widen the pedestrian pavement. That's another example which Ian will go into detail with that. For me, that is not only a pedestrianization process, that is really a social movement. All right, let me discuss among how to use our public space, how to put people at a higher priority over cars. And if this divorce road project can really go ahead, that is a pedestrianization project with global significance. And I really hope that we can go along with that. And we know that will take a long process, because when we talk about pedestrianization in built area, that is actually a process to change the mindset of the people, to change the behavior of a road user, to change the behavior of our pedestrians. So that is a very complicated process, but we have started it in some places, and we have to keep the momentum and let this change goes on. And Ian will go into detail about that with you. Create quality walking environment, pedestrian street, footbridges, and I know that some walkability advocacy hate pedestrian footbridges. I have encountered some of them, but to me, let us face the reality. We know that is city, and we need to connect them, all right, with good footbridges. There's another advocacy I would like to talk about is about our public plaza versus town park, mindset. A public park, to a certain extent, is a segregated space, a segregated public space from the other public space. We have a very fine, well-defined boundary of a public park. But look at this layout. We do not have a well-defined, we do not have a segregated public park. All the green areas are actually served as public park as well as pedestrian thoroughfare. So that is a central park, but it is also a central plaza. People will walk along this central plaza every day. So what we are advocating is that we would like to combine three very important functions in our layout. All right. So all these green areas are pedestrian thoroughfares. They are shopping street. They are local open space. They are ventilation corridor for the city. Also a visual corridor for our city. We combine all these functions together, but this will lead us to have a new paradigm in the management of our urban parks, and that will be a difficult way that we need to, encounter. Pedestrian boulevard, that's another example in Kutong North. That is a railway station, and we hope that shopping frontage will be provided along this green plaza of the city. And for the detailed design, I will rely on our urban designers, our architects, to help us to make this work done. So walking is the first step for a sustainable city, and we firmly believe that a walkable city is a convenient city, is an efficient city, it's an equitable city, and a safe city, and a healthy city. So thank you very much.